Good morning, CSL-LA.
Good morning, good morning. Wow, what magic is this?
Magic it is. I'm Ray Davis, and this is,
Arnie Batson.
and we're so grateful to be with you this morning. You will sing with us, yes? Yes? I'm hearing the resounding yes.
I think
I'm
so.
seeing the
Oh,
thumbs
oh,
come
I'm
up.
seeing thumbs up.
Here we go. There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was existent, didn't know the love of God was at hand.
But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it, just to make it, just to make it through another day,
You've gotta let it go.
you gotta let it go. Let it all, let it all, let it all go.
And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. Yeah, with my faith, I see the light. So do I am free in the Spirit? Yes, I'm only here for God.
And God is love.
Yes, sirree. Good morning, Arne and Ray Davis. How fabulous, fabulous to have you in the house with us today. So wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Wonderful to be. Wonderful.
Wonderful. I know this is a joy for each of you to be able to share space together. Whoa, off they went. To share space together in your home. So we're very touched and blessed to have you there. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And welcome to our Sunday morning service. I'm just trying to get my screen up over here on the other screen. There we go. To be able to do something we need to do for you guys. So welcome to our Sunday morning service. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you here today and to welcome you into our spiritual home. And so I honor you on this day, February 12th in the year 2023, and want to honor each of you and thank each of you for your patience in us needing to reschedule our in-person service from today to the following Sunday. I'll share more about that later. So I'm so happy that you're all here with us today as we're able to remember who we are as divine beings, and from there be able to use the power that we're each imbued with, this God that Ray and Darnay spoke of here, that we release ourselves over to so that we can participate in the co-creation of the life that we desire to have. And so we come together on this day at this time to remember that, who we are, to connect to that power that is within us, and then to honor that within each and every individual. If you can give me just 1 second, I want to try to figure out what's going on here with my Zoom so I can get the screen up that I need over here. For some reason that's not happening, and so let me see if I can do it there. Well, it's not happening, so I apologize. So I was going to share a screen, but I can't get to that for some reason. And so, give me just 1 second. I had an entire slideshow set up for us, and I can't get to that somehow. My Zoom has changed its settings. So, without further ado, let's just roll with it, and we will go from there. And so I'm once again Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and we come together on Sunday mornings to be in concert with the power of the divine. We do that beginning by acknowledging who we are as divine beings within us, that power that's within us, and honoring that within each and every person that we are in concert with, as I said before. So we do that through the act of namaste. If you could see the screen that I had prepared for us, it would be the act of a beautiful lady putting her hands together and placing them in prayer position and bowing forward in the act of namaste, which is a Sanskrit word meaning I bow to you, meaning that I acknowledge the oneness of life itself that exists within me, that transcendent power that gives us the opportunity to make a difference in life itself. And not only do I know it's within me, but I know that it's within you. So let's all take a deep breath in together, center ourselves, placing our hands together in prayer position, leaning forward, saying together, Namaste. So we are a community that comes together and have come together now for well over 30 years to honor who we are in life, to remember who we are as spiritual beings, and to use primarily the philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind. In this essence, the science of mind, we come together to welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We stand with you. One of my favorite Ernest Holmes quotes of all times as Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. Today, let's all commit in a new way to honoring the uniqueness of Spirit that is expressed by means of every individual walking this planet. The thing that we like to do is to remember that our word has power, and the energy that we put out, we receive back in like kind. And so we like to affirm together a welcoming statement of we welcome one, we welcome all. And so I invite you all to say that with me right now, knowing that our word has power. We welcome one and we welcome all. As I said earlier, we love to practice and teach and live in the vein of the teachings of Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind, not looking at Ernest as a deity, but just as an example, as was Jesus, as to giving lessons in life of how to know who we are as divine beings and then use that power within us to propagate good in our life. Ernest Holmes created the philosophy, faith, way of life, named as The Science of Mind, and its tenets are that there's only one power, one presence, one thing happening in life itself. That power, which we each individualize, he refers to as source, as to God, but also as to the thing itself. I love that statement because it reminds us to not take it all so serious, as well as to not give it some personal qualities. It's an impersonal, infinite power, and that we get to use it through our thinking, through our actions, through our beliefs, through our reactions and interactions with the very thing itself. And because we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law, that attentiveness of our actions, our reactions, and our interactions, that development of our awareness of who we are, is then responded to by the law of life, and then is corresponded to and provided to us and through us as experiences, as examples of life itself. In other words, our life. So if we don't like what's going on in our life, whether that be being sick, or whether it's what's going on in our career, or whether it's our awareness of who we are as a divine being, we have not only the opportunity and the possibility, but I believe as awakened spiritual beings, the responsibility to change our thinking, to change our awareness, and to change how we show up in the world. And ultimately, once we change our thinking, our world indeed will change. And of course, in miracles, that is called a miracle, a shift in perspective. The vision statement that we have as a community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, Today, I invite each and every one of us to not only invite in that spiritual awakening, but to hold the idea true for everyone that we encounter and all that we know that it's walking this planet Earth together, that there are spiritual awakenings happening moment by moment by moment by moment, and that is through a remembrance of each one of us knowing who we are as divine beings. And as that happens, it provides for each of us a greater sense of personal self-empowerment. And in so doing, then that consciousness permeates all of humanity because we are interconnected. And as a result, change happens. A great way to do that is through the ritual calling in the light. We're going to do that now. And once again, I would love to have shared the beautiful slides that I had for us for this morning for calling in the light. But you'll get to look at my beauty instead. And now that I'm in the process of healing from the big COVID I had this week, I'm looking much better. So maybe the universe is saying this is what we're supposed to look at today. The brightness and the essence and the illumination of spirit that is me. Calling in the light as a ritual. Today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. In our philosophy, faith, and way of life, we believe that we're imbued with the qualities of peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. Today, I would like for us to focus on the quality of light. Ernest Holmes says that light is the symbol of universal intelligence. Metaphysically, it's defined as the spiritual and the divine's illumination and also, once again, intelligence. It's believed that light is the source of goodness and of the ultimate reality. And it accompanies transcendence into the nirvana of the Buddhist doctrine. Deepak Chopra tells us that light is the symbol of consciousness. My acronym for light is living in God's healing truth. But I believe that truth is, and I believe for each one of us that we know together, is that as we honor and acknowledge the oneness of life, the light within each and every one of us, that is the same light, that healing transpires. Personally, I've experienced that healing this week in physical form, as well as through the form of changing my thinking and experience of life changes. February, the month that we're in, is Black History Month. I'd like for us to consciously and purposely engage in healing and honoring any division that takes place, that is taking place in our world. We know it is, we see it. And do our part by having a miracle take place within each and every one of us and have a shift in our perspective and to open our minds to thinking anew. I'd like to read a poem by Langston Hughes today to set the tone further for our metaphorically lighting a light. It's titled, I Dream a World. I dream a world where man, no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. Whatever race you be will share the bounties of the earth, and every human is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy, like a pearl, attends the need of all mankind. Of such a dream, my world. I'm going to invite Arne and Ray back onto the screen to take us through the song Calling in the Light. It's a call and response song, and let's let that be the anchor to anchor us into a consciousness that Langston Hughes speaks of, writes of, and then our singing together propels it out as the light of the divine to the world.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
And so it is. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And so it is. Thank you. So beautiful. So Arne and Ray, you can come back on the screen, please. So we're so... Hi. Are you there? Oh.
In my heart,
In my heart,
I am free.
I am free.
I am spirit.
I am spirit.
I am soul.
I am soul.
All together,
All together,
we are whole.
we are whole.
Calling in the light,
Calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
ooh, calling in the light,
Calling in the light, calling in the light of
and so it is.
And so it is. How beautiful. It's so touching to not only hear the two of you together there, but to see you and know that the love that you each share for each other. Just so wonderful. So wonderful. So the first song, or the next song that you have for us, you want to tell us a little about it?
Well, it's a song that we've both
Love
known and loved it for years, have sung it in all kinds of iterations. But this is our very first time singing it together, which
All
is like, what?
It's beautiful. You'll know it. So sing along in your space and just let's revel in this love that we have together.
Yes,
I love it. Take it away.
in such a space of celebration. Can we say what's been happening in February? With all the February events that have been going on.
Yeah,
In the family. We'll
Uh-huh.
family February events.
a whole lot of February birthdays. My mother's the 10th, younger brother the 11th, I'm the 13th tomorrow, and a younger sister the 16th on Thursday. So
There's so much to be said about that, but I know you've got a big one tomorrow.
yes, I get to turn 60.
I know. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
We were singing this, and we got Lori here
Hi, Lori.
when she's dancing in the background.
That's Ray's beloved wife. Beautiful being of light that she is. Yes. So, hi, Lori.
love, more love, more love, more love.
Thank you for sharing Ray with us today. I love it. All right, Ray and Arne, take it away.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, nothing is going right.
Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, yeah, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yeah. You got a friend,
Friend of love.
you got a friend.
When the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow,
Keep your head together and call my name out loud. Soon you hear me knocking upon your door. Yeah. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, yeah. All you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Well, ain't it good to know you got a friend when people can be so cold?
well, they'll hurt you and then they'll desert you. Take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them.
You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. You got a friend, you know you got a friend.
Yeah, you got a friend.
You got a friend.
Don't you know you got a friend?
Got a friend in me, got a friend in
Don't you
me.
know you got a friend?
Oh yeah, you got a friend.
Yeah. You got a friend.
Got a friend.
Got a friend in me.
Got a friend in me.
You got a friend.
Got a friend. Got a friend in me.
Got a friend.
Got a friend.
Got a friend.
Got a friend in me.
Got a friend. Got a friend.
Got a friend.
Got a friend in me. Got a friend.
Got a friend.
Got a friend.
Got a friend. A friend in me.
Got a friend.
I love it. Well, I'm so glad you guys finally did that live.
So are we. So grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, so fabulous. And I can't wait to see that when you take that show on the road.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
The Nay and Ray Show.
Hey, hey, it's
Oh,
the
no.
day and right.
Hey, hey. The Nay and Ray Show. I
Let's put
love
the
it.
brakes on it for a
I
minute.
know.
So fabulous. Thank you all. See you in a moment.
In a moment.
That was
Thank you.
amazing. Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Excuse me. It's what laughing does to me right now. So, last Sunday, we kicked off our theme for February, which is Love is in the Air. And we ended that with the focus on being love in our daily lives. The quote that we ended on last week, and I repeated a couple of times, is the great Jimi Hendrix quote, which is, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." And I know that resonates with each and every one of us in a different way, but I encouraged us to use that as our mantra throughout the week for the purpose of understanding that it's not just an action and intention, even though both of those are called for through us and by us, but to understand that it's through the action of love, of allowing the self-givingness of spirit to do its thing unencumbered through us, but that through that being, that then changes our vibrational frequency, and according to the map of consciousness by David Hawkins, that pulls us up into that higher realm of consciousness, whereby peace is the experience. That's the manifestation. By being love, we are then manifesting through ourselves the experience of peace. Then looking at peace, breaking it down through my favorite acronym of peace is not just that state of inner calm. It's not just an awareness on the journey. It's not just spiritual awakenings, but let's look at it as purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. So then living from the place of the power of love as opposed to the love of power, in other words, wanting to try to be in control, that state of delusion within our life, that we then allow ourselves through intention and purpose and decision to be love. In other words, to be peace, to do it from not just a concept, but from an action in life. I was shared this meme this week that I think is great and would like to use as a guide to move us forward, as a guide for the actions that's being called for. And it's this: how beautiful would it be if we said to people we loved, "I'm not feeling like my best self today. Can you remind me of who I am?" And that person said a few reasons why they appreciate you for you. Appreciation and connection heals us, it says. A great invitation for us to find that connection with those that we are intimate with, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, to feel confident and comfortable enough to actually engage in that act, and then allow them to remind us. And if we don't have the ability to connect with someone in the moment, then let's do our best to look in the mirror and do that for ourselves. God knows I did that this week, as well as to reach out to a professional, whether that be a therapist or a practitioner or a minister. Why is that important? It's because this affirmation and reaffirmation of who we really are creates a shift in our field of awareness and then changes our vibration. It really invites in those particles of love that are already in the air. The great Maya Angelou, who we certainly celebrate every day, but of course celebrate at an even higher level right now during Black History Month, says, "Love recognizes no barriers. Love jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination. Now, my sense is when she wrote this, more than likely she's speaking of the Eros love, that romantic love that we all desire to experience both with ourselves and others, that which we just experienced with the Nay and Ray show and with Lori, who came into the picture. We can see by means of what we're witnessing visually that love is there. It's jumping those fences. But we also feel it in the interaction between the two of them, as well as our intuition, the wisdom of the divine within us, acknowledges it and recognizes it as it unfolds. Dr. Angelou tells us that love recognizes no barriers. Love jumps hurdles, leaps fences, and penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. Now, many get freaked out with that word hope in metaphysics in the sense that it's not definite or determined enough. But let's remember that that's an old ideology in regards to hope. Let's look at hope through the lens as it's actually the recognition of the Christ that is within. It's that stirring of the remembrance deep within us of who and what we are. It's the activation of the love that is within us. Today we continue to talk about love. That's the month of February. And I want to expand on that once again beyond the Eros love, the emotional love, the human love, not denying that, but adding on to that a foundation, a consciousness that automatically will give us the opportunity to give and to receive that Eros love, but living from the agape love. Deepak Chopra tells us that the spiritual meaning of love is measured by what it can do. Love is meant to heal. Love is meant to renew. Love is meant to bring us closer to God. Dr. Holmes tells us that healing is the act of revealing the oneness of life that already exists. When we remember that, then we have space within us, if you will, to tune into the other healings that are included in life. Physical for sure. Like I said, God knows I needed that and experienced it this week, and it indeed happened. I believe that our journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening is really all about becoming closer and closer to God, not meaning that we're getting closer and closer to something that's beyond us, but we're getting closer and closer to that which is within us. It's already there by eliminating anything in our field of awareness or consciousness that is contrary to that which is already there. God. It's a big word. And you get to define it for yourself, as do I. But as a reminder of how it's defined in this philosophy, faith, and way of life is Holmes talks about it as the thing itself. It's that one power, the one source, that which connects us all. Once again, building on that I love acronyms, my acronym for love, which is God. God is synonymous with love, and love is synonymous with God, according to Emerson. My acronym is love, life's one vital energy. So what we're being told here is that God, that infinite thing itself, is indeed the vital energy that we are all imbued with, that we experience and express in life. And another name for it is love. It's everywhere. It's omnipresent. It's infinite. It's renewal. It's restorative. It's revitalizing. And it's accessible. How is it accessible? It's accessible because it's there already. We don't have to do anything to create it. Our objective, if you will, in life is to continue to evolve in consciousness. Purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. To evolve in consciousness, to arise to that higher vibrational frequency, if we were to use the map of consciousness as a realm to look at, as a measurement of life, remembering that 0 is the lowest and 1,000 is the highest. It's written in regards to this from Susan Hawkins and David Hawkins in regards to that measurement of consciousness, the map, that there are indeed obstacles to love, but let's understand what love is first and where it exists in this realm of 0 to 100. Remembering that most of humanity vibrates at the 280 to 375 level. It's written, the consciousness levels of love formally calibrate from 500 and above. And by level 570, they're often considered to be saintly by virtue of unconditionality. The energy field recontextualizes all experience and relatedness to the self, others, and to life. The obstacles to unconditional love are attachment, resentment, specialness, and judgmentalism. The power of the high energy of unconditional love is transformative to self and others and precipitates the appearance of the miraculous by which the seemingly impossible is transformed into the actual. It's a lot, right? But what he's telling us here is that when we let go of our attachment to anything and everything and to how life is going to show up, let go of our resentment, our feeling special, and our judgment in life, then we open up to this high energy of unconditional love, God, right? And that love in and of itself is transformative to us and others, and then precipitates, because of that, it prepares us for the appearance of what appears to be a miracle in life, which is the seemingly previously believed impossible to actually show up as the real in our world. Now that takes place either by physical healing or the miraculous of what we previously thought impossible in life to show up in life, the unmanifest of the highest levels of the divine becoming manifest. It's all energy that's being transformed from the essence of what it is into form so that we can experience it, acknowledge its tangibility, while also understanding that it is transformative in and of itself, forever recalibrating itself from form back into that which is unmanifest. What does all that mean? It means that our role here is to focus on being the energy of love. Hawkins goes on to tell us that the energy of love is complete within itself and is thus free of need, considerations, limitations, or the seeking of gain. To be free of wantingness is liberating, and in some spiritual traditions, enlightenment is termed liberation. It's the dissolving of the personal self into the self of divine love. And that act, that is what we call a spiritual awakening, that's forever and ever and ever happening through us, is referred to as unio mystica, which means the mystical union between the believer and the Christ, or source, or the thing itself. What we're being told here is that for us to live in this state of unconditional love, that we are to continue to believe in that possibility of it being made manifest through us. And by tuning in to it, the thing itself, and its qualities of peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom, and believing that its role is to do its thing through us unencumbered, then the union of that makes more of itself out of itself. The energy of love. Could be a song title, don't you think? I mean, it wouldn't be the first love song that's written, right? We just witnessed a love song up just earlier, If You Got a Friend. Love is truly one of the most things that's written about in songs. It's been estimated that more than 100 million love songs have been recorded, and the variety is staggering. Now, we're all familiar with a variety of love songs, and I invite you to think of some of your favorites. And here are a few that I pulled down just to remind us, certainly in our lifetimes, of them. There's Silly Love Songs by Paul McCartney and Wings. Endless Love by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross. Crazy in Love by the one and only Beyonce. Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley. Best of My Love by The Emotions. Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Freddie Mercury and Queen. To Sir with Love, Lulu. Justify My Love, the most controversial, Madonna. Book of Love by the Monotones. Love Me Tender by Elvis. Cupid, Sam Cooke. All You Need Is Love, the Beatles. What's Love Got to Do with It, Tina Turner. And of course, What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love, written by Burt Bacharach. But the song that kept coming up for me in preparation for today is The Greatest Love of All, performed by the one and only Whitney Houston. I'm going to read the lyrics to this for us to let it be an instruction, if you will, a guide, once again, as we used Langston Hughes' poem earlier, this too as a guide for us to begin to recalibrate our thinking in a way that will set us up consciously for viewing life in a new way, so that the unseen that we desire to experience in life becomes seen and felt and experienced in our life, and that we become more aware of our role in the co-creative process of that manifestation, because we're doing our part being unconditional love. The lyrics go, excuse me, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. And let the children's laughter remind us of how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfills my needs. A lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to be yourself, it's the greatest love of all. Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. And I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength in love. Those lyrics have such metaphysical tones to them. What we're being told is to learn to love ourselves, to know that the greatest love of all is happening really not to us, but through us. And that should we find ourselves in a lonely place dreaming, to find our strength in love. Life's one vital energy. It's inside of us waiting to be recognized, to remembered, to be awakened, to be participated in, and then shared. To share it. No matter what's going on in our lives, to do to the best of our ability, whether it's a physical ailment, whether it's an emotional ailment, whether life has just got us down, or stuff shows up, or we have to recalibrate life, much like this week and rescheduling Sunday, to trust and know, like I had the opportunity to do, to know that the greatest love is already within me. What we teach here and practice and speak about and talk about and learn and grow from is that everything is already in place. God is all there is. Good exists. And it's ours for the remembering. One word for that is love. Let's choose to be that example on a daily basis. I love the story of someone who was an example, and he loves to speak of love. The great Lin-Manuel Miranda won the award for Best Score for Hamilton, and in lieu of a traditional speech, he delivered a poem about love for his wife and the need for love in the wake of tragedy, no doubt at the time responding to the horrific mass shooting in Orlando. By the end, he was in tears and the crowd was cheering. And here's what he stated. We chase the melodies that seem to find us until they're finished songs and start to play. When senseless acts of tragedy remind us that nothing here is promised, not one day. The show is proof that history remembers. We live through times when hate and fear seem stronger. We rise and fall and light from dying embers. Remembrances that hope and love last longer. And love is 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 love. Cannot be killed or swept aside. I sing Vanessa's symphony. Eliza tells her story. Now fill the world with music, love and pride. Thank you so much for this. He says, we rise and fall and light from dying embers, remembrances that hope and love last longer. For love is love, is love, is love, is love, is love, is love, is love. Let's remember that love is the self-givingness of the Spirit through the desire of life to express itself. Emerson tells us that love is a synonym for God. We're told in the New Testament that he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. And that love is free from condemnation, even as it is free from fear. Holmes goes on to tell us that love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. Life's one vital energy, love, is in you and it's in me. Today, let's begin to rise up in the spiral of the cycle of this map of consciousness and tune our vibrational frequency to a higher frequency of love. Remembering, as Hawkins tells us, that this love we speak of is misunderstood to be an emotion. It's actually a state of awareness, a way of being in the world, a way of seeing oneself and others. Last week, we were called to step into a simple act of kindness to oneself and all that lives, which is indeed the most transformational force of all. As I said earlier, this week, I was called upon to remember this love, to remember, much as I invite each of us as we step into the week ahead, that we all have the information within us. But as Holmes tells us, information without application is hallucination. And so let's all make covenant and commit that as we move forward today, that we do tune our vibrations to a higher level of life, that we trust that the law of life responds to us by corresponding, and to remember that love indeed, just like those horrible viruses of COVID and flu and whatnot, is indeed in the air. But love is the power that overcomes them all. We're taught that our final emancipation in life of this healing that we all seek to experience, and we only get to experience and we express it, is indeed written by our own hand. It's thought by our own mind. And indeed, it's recognized as our own birthright when we're willing to do so. You and I will find, should be willing to have the courage to live from this place of love, that our word has the amount of power, the amount of intelligence that we put into it, and it has the most creative power imaginable, but it's according to the amount of the absolute conviction and impulse of love, one's vital energy, that self-gives the Spirit, which is behind it. Let's make sure that we're behind it to the best of our ability, with every breath, with every thought, with every action, with every reaction, and with every interaction that comes from this moment forward. Let's think anew. One of our texts this week was this: a new idea is delicate. It can be killed by a sneer or a yawn. It can be stabbed to death by a quip and worried to death by a frown on the right person's brow. Charles Brower. Today, let's you and I make sure that we're not that person for others and for ourselves. That let's be open to this new idea of living from unconditional love. Let's let it make itself be known to us today in a new way. And make sure that we release any desire or need or habit of frowning, quipping, sneering, most importantly, to newness. Love is in the air today as you and as me. Have a happy, happy, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. Ray and Arne are going to come back and sing another beautiful song for us.
Let's breathe that in. All of that love. Wow. Thank you, Reverend Keith. You think we know anything about love?
I don't know, but I'm ready to explore and express. Let's see what we can find.
Let's see what we can find. Let's see.
Love, be incorrect. See you through. Be the first to fill your heart with. Be about the. Sing a song about. Never doubt that. Full dimensional. It's our shelter. Now and always. Before and after love. Love, love.
Gives you courage.
Love,
Mends your heart.
love,
It's the best thing.
love,
You can't go wrong with.
love,
'Cause it's eternal.
love,
It has no end.
love,
Stand on up for.
love,
Unconditional
love,
is our shelter.
love,
Now and always.
love,
Before and after love. Love, love.
because
Love,
we'll see you through.
love,
Be the first to
love,
fill your heart with.
love,
Be about it.
love,
Sing a song about it.
love,
Never doubt that.
love,
Full dimensional.
love,
Give our shelter.
love,
Now and always.
love,
Before and after.
love, love. Sing it with
Love,
us.
love,
Gives you courage.
love,
It mends your heart.
love,
It's the best thing.
Love.
You can't go wrong with.
love,
'Cause it's eternal.
love,
And it has no end.
love,
Stand on up for.
Love.
Unconditional.
love,
Love is our shelter.
love,
Love it now and always.
love,
Love before and after. Love, love,
I love that. I love that song. Who wrote that song?
That's Ricky Byers.
It is
Our Ricky. It's
our Ricky.
our Ricky.
It's all
Ah, just
about the love song.
yeah, it's so beautiful. And It's so beautiful, the joy that's coming from the two of you as you sing it as well. So.
This is our first time
Singing
this
that one too. Yeah, we've taken many times.
So that's what today's all about. It's a today of first.
And we were there when Ricky created it. And
Yes.
so we just all, she just gave us our part, love. And so we just all sang that. And she added all these other things. We were like,
Wow.
that
Which is-
Ricky, she can
Which
write a
happens
song.
all the time.
That girl, she can write a song. She's
She can write a
talented.
song. She talented.
And
She
you
can-
two can sing them too. So sing them and play the music behind them. So fabulous. I know you've got another special song coming up shortly for our Conscious Giving. So thank you both so very much for being here today. It's just
Grateful to be here and
warms my heart, and I'm so glad it worked out when I was in the depth of fever this week. As you know, I was like, oh my god, we got to figure this out. We got to get it to work and like put it out there. And you guys were like, oh, I'll go to Ray's house and we'll do it there, and it just all fell into place. And that's such a great example of what we teach. So, and your receptivity to that. So thank you so very much.
happy to.
Love you, love you. So speaking of receptivity, now is the opportunity for us to support our community financially. And I'm going to put on the screen, I was able to get that part figured out again, the ways to support ours through conscious giving. And you can do that by going to our website, csl-la.org, and click on donate, or use our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and click on the upper left bars, and that'll give you the opportunity to do that. Or mail in a check. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038, which is where we'll be next Sunday for our in-person service, and hope to see all of you there. And please bring friends. Or my phone number's on the screen. You can call me and I'll be happy to take care of it privately for you if that works for you. So Arne and Ray are going to come on the screen and take us through a song that they've chosen for this Conscious Giving. What's the title of it, Arne?
The song is called Completely Yes. It's from our church roots.
Yes,
Our
indeed.
church roots.
Yes.
We're bringing the Black history into this. Sandra Crouch is the composer, and she says, completely yes.
Completely yes. Well, I love it. So as we all take a moment to support our community, let's affirm that good is present by means of us, and use what's on the screen as a guide as Arne and Ray takes us through this beautiful song, and let's heed its calling.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. From the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul. Yes, Lord. Completely yes. My soul says yes. We love you. We love you. We love you. From the bottom of our hearts to the depths of our souls, we love you. We really do. Our souls say yes. One more time with that yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. From the bottom of our hearts to the depths of our soul. Yes, Lord. Completely yes. My soul says yes. My soul says yes. My soul says yes. One more time, one more time. My soul says yes. Completely.
Hallelujah. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So want to thank everyone for being here today and give you a couple of updates. And so a big thank you also to Travis Smith, who does our audio for us today, who's always just does such a wonderful job and does it with an open mind and an open heart and gives of love through all of it. As well as a big thank you to Robert Hensley, our administrative assistant, who also shows up and gives of his heart and soul and keeps us in track through social media and administratively. And thank you to Robert. A big thank you to each one of you for being here as well today. I want to remind you all that We have a text that goes out each day. It's called a new thought for the day. If you're not signed up for that, please feel free to do so and share it with your friends. It goes out every morning at 7:30. It's a great little way to go, ding, that's how I should focus today. And they're fabulous and wonderful. And then those are done in an animated format and sent out through social media. We have an e-newsletter that goes out first part of the week that also tells you what's going on. A reminder that we'll be in person next Sunday, 10:30 a.m. in our home at Congregation Colamy. Look forward to seeing you all there. Also, we have a Wednesday morning meditation. You can join that at 8:30 a.m. through Zoom. All of that information is on our website and or through our app in the App Store, as well as our weekly e-newsletters. We have a list of practitioners, should anyone like to work with a practitioner to engage in this healing that I spoke of. And that can also be found on our website as well. If you've joined us through Facebook today, we want to say a big hello and thank you for being here with us. These services indeed are recorded. They'll be accessible later through our Facebook and our website. And if you're here with us on Zoom, know that once we complete in just a moment, we'll stay on and have a brief hello to each other. So that's where we're at. So Ray, Nay, and Ray, do you guys have anything else for us, or did we complete that piece, or do you have? I can't hear you guys if you're muted.
That?
Now you can.
Okay. We're thinking of someone who recently made transition, who is a bright light to so many, and I think he knew a little bit about love, and so
Good.
he might have known a little bit about love.
Okay.
That's Burt Bacharach. Let's sing that. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Everybody gets love. You get
Everyone.
love.
That's beautiful. Thank you for taking us out on that. Nay and Ray. Our Nay and Ray. Thank you all for being here today. Know that love is indeed making itself known by means of you right now and will continue to do so because that's its nature. Your nature, as is mine, is to let it do its thing. So be the love right now and forevermore. Peace and blessings. Have a beautiful week. Continue to share who you are.